Hi everyone, it's Tony Flath. It's T-Man Speaks, and today on Talk with T-Man, I have the lovely pleasure of having Lee J. Plummer. How you doing today, Lee?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Hey, I'm not too bad. It's morning here. I'm having my coffee. You're even more so morning than me, so I appreciate you getting on early.
Yep, yep.
Oh, gotta love that coffee. So today we're going to go ahead and just Lee and I connected through social media, through a video challenge, Des Video Challenge, and we've been interacting back and forth. And I threw it out to him to do this duo video that I've got that I'm working on with Talk with T-Man. So to start off with, Lee, I'd love to get a little bit better understanding of Lee 101. What's where you started and how things kicked off, and certainly look forward to hearing the story.
All right. Well, I mean, my story's pretty vast. I'm sure we don't have enough time to talk about all of it. Had some childhood trauma when I was younger. We'll just kind of go past that at the moment, just because it's a long story. But that led me to come up here to Oregon, live with my aunt and uncle. I got adopted by them back in the '90s, and that basically started my life here. My next chapter after what I endured as a child. But I did that. Went through all the basics. High school drama and all that. But as an adult, I was kind of lost, didn't know myself, and I was looking to find myself. So an opportunity to join the military came along to better the life that I had at the moment. And so I decided to join for that betterment. And I joined at 22 back in 2007, and I served for 8 years, one tour in Afghanistan, and now I'm a disabled veteran. But after that, I followed work, I followed money, all the wrong ambitions, at least for me, anyways.
Yeah.
That led me to finding a school, and so I used my GI Bill benefit to go to school. Didn't really have a goal in mind. I just wanted to learn. I wanted to better myself, and so I just went. And so I started doing things that I love, from back when I was younger, which was art. I've been an artist all my life, something I was taught by my grandpa. And so I started with that foundation. I started with what was true to me and my being. That led me to getting my associate's degree and doing all this social media and trying to get my story out there so everybody can hear and maybe get something from it.
That's awesome. That's an amazing story, and I'm sure I can certainly hear it, and the childhood story and persevering there, and I certainly can from our discussions offline know that you certainly persevered, and I think you got a great message to share there, and big respect for you with the service. Certainly that speaks such volumes, and I'm sure there was some tough experience there through your military, that you went through, and certainly I'm sure there was some life-changing point there.
Oh, of course. It was. I mean, just initially joining was life-changing. Before I joined, I mean, I was a cashier at a retail job, which is not bad, but
Yeah.
I was making minimum wage. I wasn't doing much with my life, and I had my ex now, and that situation wasn't good in itself. I had no money. I didn't have a lot. So the military, right off the bat, gave me that. I went into this world, and it wasn't a game anymore. I was in it. And so it was. I left everything behind, and the military started to shape me into the man that I am now. So, but it's it was a wild ride, and best part, some of the best memories I got in my life, came from the military. It did a lot for me.
No doubt, no doubt. Especially serving a tour like that. I'm sure
Yep.
those, the things that you see there, and the things that we've all seen and heard, and the reality of it. It certainly
Hmm.
can make us all appreciate the freedom that we have, and despite all the noise in the media, and despite all the world drama and everything else associated with that, you certainly get an appreciation for what we have, and
Hmm.
what we can kind of look at. So let's talk a little bit further about where you're at. You're That's a great thing that you've gone through these life experiences of tough experience with work, and those certainly going through those things give you the battle scars and the experience to carry forward. And now in
Hmm.
your associate's degree level, certainly would love to hear more on how you're focused on, your message, how you want to get it out there to people, and, maybe a little more on where that message is, and where you really want to take that to. You're doing some amazing stuff on social media. I'm looking forward to your upcoming podcast, right? So, maybe just a little more along that line would be fantastic. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, started school a little over 2 years ago. What kind of sparked that was I was working uh, at a big manufacturing company making airplane parts, and I was a furnace operator, and I did that for seems like 4 years, and it was great. It was a future, it was a career. I had a pension, and I mean, it was everything you wanted in the workforce, and it came to a point that I didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't want to deal with the drama at the workplace, and I didn't want to spend the next 30 years of my life doing something that I hate. And that I left and started my first journey into school, and I went and got my Class A CDL. So it was only a month worth of school, but it started the journey of education. And so I went and did truck driving for about a year, and then I got into a car accident, and that aggravated a lot of my disabilities that I received from the military. But that led me to school. And so I had this GI Bill, this benefit that I got from serving in the military, and so I decided to use it. And for no specific goal in mind initially, but I went in there and I followed what was true to me. I did art and I found writing. And with that, the writing led me to be able to tell my story and my experiences that I went through in life. And that's what led me to want to be a writer, because I have a story to tell. I have experiences to tell, and people, can get insight and inspiration from the troubles that I've went through. But and we get to the current now. I graduated. I got my associate's degree. I'm continuing to pursue art and writing, and I'm trying to structure this world between the two all around me. And so I have subgroups. I'm trying to do videos on YouTube. Eventually, I hope to get into podcasts. I actually have a podcast coming up. I'll be on Al Levin's The Depression Files come Monday, the 23rd.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks.
Yeah.
I'll certainly look forward to seeing that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be posting that on Twitter, and I got my Twitter, I'm doing it all, and, but I'm in the startup still, nothing's perfect. And so, for all my viewers, I'm sorry if I'm not getting the content out there on time, but it's, I'm glad that I have people such as yourself that are being patient with me, wanting to hear more of my story and see what I'm going to do with my journey.
Well, hey, and I'm just an old guy figuring it out here too, right? So certainly having a lot of fun, and I'm liking what you're saying on the artistic side, and I certainly am artistic myself, and even more so lately have been going back to some of that, right? Doing some doodling, keeping a notepad there when just doodling and putting some cool art that I put together just on Instagram or whatever when I get a chance, right? And I find that, when you do that and you kind of sidetrack, and you made a good point, and I'll really look forward to hearing your story further on this. When you do that, it's like you change your path. Instead of
Hmm.
just getting in this box world of I've got to go to this job, I've got to follow corporate policy, everybody there is, toxic, everything else, right? Well, those things can really kind of burden down on you, right? And I
Oh, of
found
course.
with this whole just getting out there and, going out in nature, doing a little bit of doodling, just offsetting it, like even picking up a guitar or whatever, or just
Hmm.
even like the storytelling. This is such a great medium, and I'm really glad that you're stepping up to it. And, I've certainly had help along the way to get my message out there. It is a great medium. It's a great way to get your message out there. And I mean, I hope that I can help people, and it's great that, to see what you're doing from a perspective of helping people.
Hmm.
So, really looking forward to the ride, and, certainly, looking forward. I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I'm behind, Lee J. Plummer. I want to see him do well with the podcast and everything else. And I certainly look forward to staying in touch with you and having a follow up and keeping in touch time to time. And anything I
Oh,
can
of
help
course.
along the way, I'm more than happy to.
Well, that sounds great. So
So
I'm looking forward to it.
awesome, awesome. So just in the last couple minutes here, right? If we're kind of looking at things and just in the last part of the segment here, so going forward on your next steps in this journey and on this path, right? What are some things that really are your like like let's say your mountain peak, where you're kind of looking at getting up every day and saying, this is what I want to dig into and
Mm.
this is where I want to go and grow, right? I'd sure love to get your perspective on that.
Well, and that's the artist and the writer in me, and that is my big goal. And so initially when I said subgroups, that's what I meant by Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. These are avenues that I use for what I want to do as an artist and a writer. But I've throughout my life experiences, with work and trying to chase after your dreams and unrealistic, realistic expectations, I apply all that to my art and my writing. And so with art, I have on YouTube and on Facebook Lee's Woodcrafts. Eventually, it's just going to be Lee's Crafts because I do more than just wood. But
Cool.
that's my realistic. That's my foundation. I can go to craft shows. I can sell online. I can make a sustainable income for myself through my art. Whereas my journey with writing is more time consuming. It takes quite a while to write a book, which I'm working on various things such as children's books, novels, and that's my big piece. That's my story. That is everything you guys are hearing from me all into one, such as self-help books and whatnot. But that's the end goal, is to become a published author and a recognized artist. So.
Cool, cool. Well, I'm certainly looking forward to seeing that. That's exciting, and certainly you're like using the social medium, as a great platform to get that message out there. I've certainly interacted with so many interesting people and have built this amazing social community and really a tribe of people, right? So if
Mm-hmm.
you take the right perspective on it, you can certainly find some great value in there, and you can't take anything too personally because it's people are behind a keyboard. It's hard to sometimes really define what they're thinking, right? But
I try not to take it.
yeah, 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 no doubt. It's interesting that way. So I know myself, and I'm sure, and you've touched on this, and I'll be really curious to see this unfold, right? But just at the last minute here, I think in life it's those challenging points that really can define you, right? Like I think
Mm-hmm.
it's those points where you are on a track, you are being focused, and you're trying to go for something, but you continually get knocked down, right? and
Mm-hmm.
and you've gone through this amazing military experience and all these other life experiences. Just in that last kind of minute area here, what's one thing you'd like to leave, from your experience of how to persevere through that and carry you forward?
It's changing your routine, changing your habit, and changing your mindset. And many times in my life, I was stuck into a mindset that I couldn't follow my dreams. I had to work this job for the next 30 years, and as I kept telling myself that, I was building my routine, I was building my habit, and I was following it. When I have the power to change that mindset and go after what I want, as long as I apply realistic, specific, and practical, aspects to my journey. And throughout time, I've started changing that. And now I can see that art and writing, it is realistic. It is within my grasp, and as long as I, dedicate myself, I can persevere towards that ambition.
Awesome. Such a great message. Well, hey, thank you so much for doing this today. Certainly appreciated it. And I certainly look forward to doing more.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it as well.
All right. Best of the